The top story, researcher urges Africa to shift from subsistence farming to advanced technology. Hello and welcome to BBC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism with Enizam Tabitha John. Do stay with us. The Rift Valley Innovation Summit 2025, a first-of-its-kind event, concluded successfully in Addis Ababa, marking a significant step towards fostering a vibrant innovation ecosystem in Ethiopia and across the region. Organizer Lulit Ejigu, known as the chairwoman for the Ethiopia Diaspora Trust Fund, sat down with Tafarra Gadamu, producer of the popular MeTBC TV program, to discuss the summit's vision and impact. Johannes Fantahun has reviewed the program and produced the following report.
Fostering innovation in developing countries requires addressing unique challenges including limited access to funding, infrastructure gaps, skill shortages, and regulatory hurdles. Initiatives like the Great Rift Valley Innovation Summit are crucial for building supportive ecosystems, promoting collaboration, and empowering local innovators to compete on a global scale. Organizer Lulit Ejigu, also the chairwoman for the Ethiopian Diaspora Trust Fund, sat down with Tafarra Gadamu, producer for the popular MeTBC TV program, to discuss the summit's vision and impact. Describing what innovation is, Lulit emphasized it is democratizing power.
For us, innovation is about the place to kind of start on the level foot, right? It's a place where everyone is equal. Everyone can take the same amount of information, leverage their ideas, and create something new. And so I think that we haven't really had this type of revolution in a long time, right? You talk about manufacturing or servicing or real estate or development. All of it requires a very heavy investment, very heavy infrastructure. And innovation is not like that. It actually is a place where, from a developing perspective, it kind of gives you a close to an equal footing so that, tomorrow you could actually compete globally.
Lulit further highlighted the transformative potential of innovation for Ethiopia, stating innovation is a revolution that we can't afford to sit out. We have to play a part in. She also underscored the importance of integrating innovative skills with other necessities in the ecosystem, ensuring that Ethiopia's innovation landscape is both vibrant and sustainable, setting the stage for growth.
You have the actual innovators themselves, many young entrepreneurs. We're partnering with a group called EYA, so it's the Ethiopian Youth Entrepreneurship Association, and just seeing their ideas and how they see their innovations and how they see it operating in the marketplace. But there may not be the best platform for them. There may not be the best understanding in regards to policymakers as we're providing the ecosystem. Interesting enough, our finalists, the biggest concern that they had were the tax documents. And I wouldn't have even thought of that prior to, doing the GRV. I wouldn't have ever thought about that. So really incorporating our post-summit work really in regards to the regulatory agencies, the policy making, the advisor, the mentorship, and then also providing them service grants so that they have support in regards to marketing their product, servicing their product, if they have a gap in finance or accounting or these things that you need to have. It's not just all engineers that's going to build a company, right? You need all the functions. And sometimes I see that's kind of where it's lacking, but also thinking through how to kind of integrate that into the entire ecosystem.
Food insecurity in Africa in 2025 is expected to worsen, with millions of people facing hunger. Approached by EBC World, researcher at the Ethiopian Foreign Affairs Institute, Yalem Saugannetu, highlighted Africa's change from highly depending on subsistence farming to technology-based and more advanced ones. Tigos Tarnisa sat down with him. Take a look.
Food insecurity has continued to become another issue the continent is grappling with. So what should be done to come up with a better solution to reach food self-sufficiency?
Yes, sadly, Africa almost, it contains 60% of the arable land in the world. But still, our food security depends on other continents by the assistance of other countries. So we need to change that. African Union is also bringing this issue into the table for member states to focus on just securing their food. Therefore, there should be a lot of measures that should be taken. For example, as I told you before, mechanization is very important. We have to transit our service from subsistence kind of farming to more just technology-based, modern kind of mechanization is very important, as you know. African population is growing very rapidly. We do have currently 1.4 billion people. So unless we change the way that we produce agricultural products, we cannot feed this large number of population. Therefore, we need to use modern technologies. We need to encourage investors to engage in agricultural sectors. We need to also take into consider climate change, because climate change is also affecting the contemporary practice of agricultural production. Therefore, this climate resilience kind of production should be also taken into consider. Therefore, by taking these measures, you can also secure food of African populace at large.
What must be done to create an Africa we want in relation to the Agenda 2063, do you think?
Yeah, it is very grand, and it is a blueprint for the whole of Africa and its people. In 2063, it is basically the goal is making Africa as one of the global powerhouse. As you have seen in natural resources, we do have more than 1.54 billion people. We do have a lot of potential naturally in different dimensions. Considering this, making Africa as one of a key player in the international system, in global economy, in global politics, in global governance, is what is aimed by Agenda 2063. So it is a comprehensive plan that's aimed at achieving, for example, industrialization. Currently, African economy basically depends on the primary sector, the agricultural sector, in GDP, as well as in export sector to the rest of the world. So rather than depending on such kinds of economy, industrialization is very important. So industrialization is one of the pillars in Agenda 2063. So the transition from the primary sector, from agricultural sector to the industry sector is what's aimed in Agenda 2063, plus full provision of social services. The literacy level in Africa is still very low. So in education sector, in health sector, in various sectors. So enhancing such kind of social provision is the foundation for producing a productive human resources and productive employees. Therefore, securing the social services is also very important. Generally, governance, for example, one of the problems in Africa is governance, democracy. Of course, there are some efforts, democratic efforts, than 3 decades ago. So strengthening those democratic and governance also is very important as a parameter for achieving Agenda 2063 and the Africans that we want.
Thank you so very much for availing yourself for this interview. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Ethiopia was not colonized at all. It sent one clear message. We must teach our young men and women history. Pan-African studies must be made compulsory in every African school, that Africans had the ability to resist the colonizers. It requires voices who love Africa to continue speaking what must be spoken and to speak firmly, without fear. My only agony is that this history is not taught as well as it should be. Many are the countries, many are the individuals, many are the freedom fighting movements that drew courage from the Ethiopian experience.
Finally, Russia calls for sweeping reforms of the United Nations, seeking a global system to mirror today's global dynamics. Senator Andriy Klimov, a senior official of the ruling United Russia Party, highlights the urgent need to amplify African and Latin American voices in international decision-making platforms. Goshu Meliso has more from the Ethiopian News Agency.
Africa's underrepresentation in key UN institutions, particularly the Security Council, has long been a point of contention. Despite comprising 54 member states, the continent struggles for equitable participation, with calls for reforms growing louder to ensure a stronger African voice in global decision-making. Talking to the Ethiopian News Agency, Russian Federation Senator and Bureau member of the Supreme Council of the ruling party, Andriy Klimov, called for the urgent reform of UN institutions.
Moscow is certainly looking for kind of reorganization of all UN institutions. But that kind of reforms must be very much based on the consensus of all nations. Otherwise, it doesn't work at all. We understand now the lack of participation of African countries and countries of Latin America in the Security Council of the United Nations Organization. We also can witness the lack of participation of offices among executives in New York from Africa and Latin America.
He said Russia is seeking for the reorganization of all UN institutions based on the consensus of all nations.
I do not want to name you all the list of possible members of the Security Council in some future, because, as I said, it must be consensus, not only between great countries, but between some others. But we can stress, and we are sure that it is not possible to prolong that way without reforms. The birthday of United Nations Organization was, as you know, in 1945, just after the Second World War. Many things happened during that 80 years period, and we need to prepare United Nations Organization for further future in proper way, including participation of representatives of Africa and Latin America in our common Security Council. How we do that, as I said, that is a matter of consensus. But of course, we have to have, as it seems to me, in the United Nations Organization, at least one representative of both Latin America and Africa, maybe two of them from each country, maybe two. And certainly we continue that kind of consultations with all states in Africa, including Ethiopia for sure.
In recent years, African countries, including Ethiopia and the African Union, have been pushing for reform and greater representation at the UN. The Common African Position on the UN Security Council reform was adopted by the AU member states in 2005.
You're watching EBC, the top story. Researcher urges Africa to shift from subsistence farming to advanced technology. That's all we had for now. I'm Tabitha John. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.